In my years of coaching, I've made it very clear you need to be strong to get selected, but where most candidates mess up is in under or overestimating how strong they need to be, resulting in either too much or too little strength training. In this video, I will share real strength data from thousands of Navy SEAL, Green Beret, and Air Force Special Warfare candidates, and afterwards, I'll share practical strength recommendations, the best exercises to prepare, and walk through 3 sample strength programs. But first, let's talk about why strength matters. While each selection course is unique, the data we do have shows bigger and stronger candidates perform better. In a study of 1,290 Navy SEAL candidates, those who completed more reps of 25-pound weighted pull-ups were more likely to complete Hell Week, with the exception of 14 who managed 19 or more reps. And in a now-deleted post from SEALSWCC.com, the Naval Special Warfare Fitness Director stated candidates standing 6'2" and 200 pounds had at least 3 times higher odds of completing Hell Week than those around 5'6" and 150. When we look to test this hypothesis in other branches, such as the Army, we see a similar phenomenon. Candidates in the top 25% of lean mass had a 58% selection rate, while those lowest in lean mass had a 20% selection rate. Just look at this chart, which clearly shows the share of candidates being selected goes up as lean mass increases. But why is this the case? Well, if you think about strength and size, the two are clearly linked, and in a physical event like selection, where all else is equal, a bigger, stronger candidate will have an advantage. And for those who doubt this is why we have weight classes for everything from powerlifting to arm wrestling. And in sports, which don't have hard weight limits, we do see certain weight clusters. For example, you don't see 200-pound linemen in the NFL because you need a certain level of size to perform the task. And while you will see a wide variety of shapes and sizes getting selected, there is a trend of bigger and stronger being better. But let's be clear about what size and strength will and will not do. Strength training will get you stronger, more muscular, reduce your risk of injury, and improve performance in selection events, assuming you keep up your endurance. But what strength training will not do is guarantee you dominate your timed runs, rucks, or improve your recovery in endurance events. With those caveats out of the way, how strong should you be? Well, I like my candidates to have at least a 155-pound strict standing overhead press, 275-pound full range of motion back squat, and a 335-pound deadlift. These numbers are an indicator that you've built up some upper body mass and strength and have spent time training the hip hinge and squatting movement patterns. And if your numbers are below these, you likely need to spend some time in the gym. But what does the data show on these strength metrics? A recent study of Air Force Special Warfare candidates from 2018 to 2022 found the average student could trap bar deadlift 345 pounds for 3 reps and do 15 bodyweight pull-ups. But there's reason to believe that the true numbers are even higher than that, since candidates didn't receive additional points for deadlifting more than 350 or going beyond 15 pull-ups. Now, admittedly, that deadlift number is high, but that could be thanks to the prep course, which goes for 8 weeks leading up to ANS. But Navy SEAL candidates who also had their own prep course were significantly weaker, with the average candidate only deadlifting 1.75 times their body weight. So with the average candidate weighing 180 pounds, that would mean they would only deadlift 315. What this signals to me is a difference in how the prep courses prioritize different aspects of training, and how the different selections have different strength demands. More on that later. But interestingly, at BUD/S, deadlift strength did not correlate with Hell Week success. Just take a look at this chart. That said, everybody did deadlift at least 1.5 times their body weight, which is notable because there is a minimum threshold of strength required. So what you can take away from this data is, first, the different selection courses have varying degrees of average strength and endurance. BUD/S, for instance, clearly prioritizes endurance to a greater degree than strength. This is evidenced by the fact that not a single candidate passed Hell Week between classes 306 and 317 with a 3-mile time slower than a 7:32-minute mile pace, whereas Army Special Forces assessment and selection requires a higher level of strength and even body mass in moving apparatuses and with all the rucking and carrying you'll be doing. Air Force ANS, on the other hand, tends to be more of a blend between the two, with recent changes placing a larger emphasis on rucking, including with the new candidate and operator fitness tests. To build on this point, let's see how the average height and weights differ between these branches. Army SFAS candidates were heaviest, averaging 183 pounds, just under 5'10" tall. Enlisted SEAL candidates averaged 5'10" and 180 pounds, and officers 5'11" and 180, while Air Force Special Warfare candidates were just under 5'10" and 173, the lightest of the group. group. So now that you have strength targets and an idea of the average size of candidates in each career field, let's talk about exercise selection. I actually have a whole video on this topic and my favorite ones, so I'll keep this brief. In short, you should prioritize exercises that have high carryover to selection and will directly improve your performance. So forget about any rules you had in bodybuilding or powerlifting training that said you had to do certain barbell lifts or isolation exercises. The exercises I program most for my athletes are variations of the deadlift, weighted pull-ups, squats, weighted carries for grip, and heavy rows. And all of these fit the criteria in developing core muscle groups you need to be successful, like your legs, back, core, and grip. And while there are certainly accessory exercises and muscle groups you want to develop for injury prevention, they are supplementary and not a replacement for developing the core strength you need to be successful. So don't be distracted by funky exercises, which at the end of the day are not a difference maker in your ability to perform. Sure, do injury prevention, but it shouldn't be your whole workout. Now let's get into the workout templates. There's a 4-day, 3-day, and 2-day strength training routine. The 4-day routine is an upper-lower split, with additional back work on the lower days since the back is a large muscle group and one I prioritize for my athletes. You'll see it's focused on the big lifts. In fact, it looks similar to most power building programs, just that we're not doing much isolation work. And this is because the primary focus is on building strength and muscle mass in the places that matter most for selection. Once you've reached a level of strength you're happy with, or you're in striking distance of the strength standards, you can drop down to 3 days of strength training. This gives you more time to focus on your running, rucking, and metabolic conditioning work, which are all graded at selection. With this 3-day routine, you can take Friday as a rest day, and what you may find is that extra day of rest primes your body for your other workouts, leading to improved performance in the gym and on the track. Or you could take the metabolic conditioning from Thursday and move it over to Friday with non-impact or zone 2 cardio immediately following it. Once you're far exceeding the strength standards I've shared, or if you want to place specific focus on your endurance and metabolic conditioning, it makes sense to drop down to 2 days of focused strength work, with both being full body. Instead of just focusing on endurance the other days though, you can still add a lot of productive volume in a short amount of time with metabolic conditioning work immediately preceding your endurance sessions. Here's what that could look like. On Tuesday and Friday, you could hit a circuit of weighted calisthenics or injury prevention and isolation work alongside conditioning to supplement your existing full-body strength program. Now you have general guidelines on how strong you should be, including several strength templates. If you'd like to learn how fast you should be for selection, check out the video on the screen. And check out my free programs available at the link in the description.